Alright, so hello all. I decided to make another video public because somebody asked a question about some modification that he made with ProStyler and Microthemer and things that didn't work out. And since this is something really special that seems to be specific to ProStyler, I decided to make this video available so that people don't think that Microthemer doesn't work and so on and so on. So I just wanted to make that video, and this is part we have an overall training. So if there are some things here that you don't understand, just keep in mind that this is part of an entire video series that I make available for people that buy Microthemer through my links. So first of all, Microthemer, if you don't know what it is, just take a look in the Facebook member group. You have at some point a video that I created about CSS and Microthemer, how to use it, just a quick overview, so that it helps you modify CSS inside of PST or any other theme that you have in WordPress. So Microthemer, there's a light version for free, but what I encourage you to do is buy the developer version, which is only $90, and it's a lifetime membership with all the updates and so on. So this is pretty cheap. Developer's license that allows you to use it on any number of sites, unlimited number of sites, and use it for your clients. So that's pretty amazing. You have the link here at the top. I'll also post it on the Facebook group. So if you buy the developers version through my link, you'll have an access to a special site that I created just for you. So this is the team. This is the site that I'm building right now with a bunch of videos. So far, I have 14 videos, but I still have a few more coming. So there will be at least 20 videos about Microthemer, but a little bit more than that about, for example, WordPress security, backups, and so on. So really useful tool. Now, to go back to the problem that we're facing, if you're using Microthemer, let's say that I want to modify this text here. What I'm going to do, I'm going to double click on that. It gives me a selector here, and I'm going to go with the inspector to select a little bit more than just the title, the H1. So again, bear in mind that if you find it too difficult, that's simply because you don't have the overall training. So I'm going to go and select that row here. I want the entire row. So take a look at what Microthemer gives me. Also in the inspector, same thing. I'm going to create a selector for that. So let's say box. I'm going to put that in the content folder and create a selector for that. So now I'm going to go inside the background property, and I'm going to change the background color of that box. So here we go. I'm going to save that and go onto my website and refresh my page. Should be saved by now. And as you can see, the modification isn't applied to my site. Hey, what's wrong? It was okay in Microthemer, and it's not alright anymore. Well, that's because of that little prefix that we have here. Notice here that we have a div with a pound sign, a number sign. This is what we call an ID, and that ID, E99YML. And this is that ID. If I double click here, this is what we see here. But the problem is that that ID is auto-generated by a ProStyler team. I don't know why they do that. Okay, so I'm not here to judge why they decided to do that. But this is a random code that is auto-generated every time we load the page. So in other words, even here in Microthemer, if I reload the page, so you will see that it's gone. And the reason for that, if I still double click here, you will see that it has changed the ID. Now, as you remember, if I go back here where I have my code, we are targeting the ID E99YML. And now we have the ID ZBUMFT. What's that? Where does it come from? We don't really know, but it is auto-generated by ProStyler. So it's not the same ID. Since it's not the same ID, the CSS I created is not applied to my element. And it's like that every time you refresh the page. So we need to do that differently. One of the ways that we can do that is go inside ProStyler. And inside ProStyler, you can target just one element. So if I target one element, I will go here inside that element. And inside ProStyler, you can go into the styling. And in the advanced section of styling, not the advanced section here, you have the CSS class and CSS ID. So you can specify one or the other, but since we're talking about ID here, I'm going to specify an ID. This would be the place. Or you can specify the ID for the entire row as well. So if I edit that row, the entire row, this is the one that I had in the previous modifications that I made. So I'm going to go with the entire row. I have the same thing here in the custom CSS section. So let's call that first box. Let's put a capital B. No spaces in classes or IDs, by the way. I'm going to save that. Don't forget to save the page, of course. And I'm going to go inside my Microthemer and refresh so that it loads that new ID. And then I'm going to come back here, double click on an empty space. So I don't have as much thing, but it looks like I still have a couple of levels to go through. And as you can see here, I have my div first box instead of the strange characters or that were there previously. So now if I select box, let's say, since I already have something for box, let's say first box. Inside content, create a selector. And now if I do the exact same thing, change the color here. Now if I save that and then go to my page and refresh it, F5 to refresh my page. Now I will see that the CSS has been applied. So that's simply a matter of IDs because, like I said, ProStyler generates ID by itself, random ID every time you load the page. But if you do specify one yourself, then it will not override it, it will use it instead. So that's the way to use Microthemer with PST. So of course, depending on what you're targeting, if you want to target, for example, all the elements here, you don't necessarily use the ID, you use that. For example, there's no ID here, you don't have to go inside ProStyler to change the ID. But if you target something like that, notice that there's an ID which is auto-generated. So if you really want to target that, you should go inside ProStyler first and change the ID to something else, because if you don't do so, your style will be applied here in Microthemer, but not when you save it, because the ID again will change when you reload the page. So hope you find that useful. Don't forget that if you buy Microthemer through my link, you're gonna have access to a bunch of video tutorials, and of course, by the way, you're gonna have access as well to open support ticket that you can send to me. So I'm gonna try to help you the best that I can. So all of that will be available if you buy Microthemer through my link. So hope it is helpful. Leave comments below and don't forget to comment, subscribe. Thank you.